For the last 46 days, it seems like there's only one story in the headlines: the US and Iran squaring off in the Persian Gulf. It looks like a simple conflict, right? But what if I told you that's not the real story? That the actual fight is between two completely different countries.
We've all seen the footage: American warships, Iranian speedboats, the whole thing. The narrative feels clear, it feels powerful, but it's missing the biggest piece of the puzzle. There's a hidden player here, and once you see who it is, you are never going to look at this story the same way again.
And it all comes down to this one number, 97%. This isn't just a random statistic. This is the key that unlocks what's really going on.
So let's just reframe this right now. What we're seeing isn't really a blockade of Iran. It's a blockade of China. By choking off Iran's oil, the US is sending a very, very direct message to Beijing. And that, right there, changes the entire game.
And look, this isn't just a theory. The data comes from a firm called Windward. These guys use satellite intelligence to track every major oil tanker on the planet. And their data is undeniable. A whopping 97.6% of all Iranian oil at sea is going to one place: China. So when the US blockades Iran, they're not really hitting Tehran. They're putting the squeeze on Beijing.
So how on earth did we get to this point? Well, it's a story of survival, really. For years, US sanctions have basically locked Iran out of the global economy. So to stay afloat, Iran built this incredible shadow oil economy, a whole secret network to sell its oil off the books. And who's their number one customer? You guessed it, China.
Okay, to really grasp how big of a deal this is, we have to talk about something called the petrodollar system. For 50 years, pretty much all oil, everywhere, has been bought and sold using US dollars. This gives America enormous power, because if you want to buy oil, you got to go through the US financial system, and that means Washington can cut you off anytime it wants.
But look at this. Iran and China have built a workaround, a whole new system. They're trading oil directly, using China's currency, the Yuan, or sometimes just straight up bartering. This is the first time a major oil producer and a major buyer have created a real, large-scale alternative to the petrodollar system. It's a direct challenge.
And make no mistake, this isn't because Iran and China are best friends. It's about power, pure and simple. China needs energy security without getting America's permission, and Iran desperately needs to sell its oil. What they've built together is a crack in America's control over the global economy, and that is something Washington absolutely cannot ignore.
And the timing? Oh, the timing is everything. A huge summit between President Trump and President Xi is just weeks away, and right before it, the US blockades China's main oil supplier. Come on, that's no coincidence. That is a classic power play, sending a message before you even sit down at the table.
The message from Washington to Beijing couldn't be clearer. It's basically, hey, just so you know, we can turn off the tap on your Iranian oil anytime we feel like it. In fact, we just did. See? This isn't about Iran's nuclear program. It's about showing China who calls the shots. Iran is just the chessboard.
But here's the thing. China saw this coming. They are not playing checkers here. They're playing chess. According to Bloomberg, they've stockpiled about a 4-month supply of Iranian oil. That's 120 days. It gives them a huge window to sit back, watch, and decide on their next move. This isn't checkmate, it's just the opening salvo.
Okay, so you've got this high-stakes geopolitical drama. Why should you care? Because this fight for control of the world's oil, it has a very real, very direct impact on your bank account.
I mean, just look at this. Gas prices have shot up to over $4 a gallon. That's a 21% jump in a single month. That is the biggest one-month spike since 1967. This is the real-world cost. You take a major oil producer offline, and everybody everywhere pays more at the pump.
And what that works out to is about an extra $1,200 a year for the average American family. Think about that. That's a car payment, a vacation. It's real money. And the crazy part is, this blockade wasn't even aimed at us.
But just when you think you've got it figured out, the story gets even weirder, because it turns out this whole blockade might not be as solid as it seems. Is this an actual military operation, or is it just political theater?
I mean, the signals coming from the White House are all over the place. One day, it's the most aggressive action of the conflict. The next day, you hear reports a tanker just slipped right through this supposedly leaky blockade. Then 48 hours after that, the president is on TV saying the war is almost over and maybe it's time to talk. What is going on?
Well, here's what's going on. This isn't how a country acts when it's starting a war.
This is how a country acts when it's just made its point, loudly. The goal was never a full-blown conflict. The goal was to get Beijing's attention. And now that they have it, they're signaling they're ready to back off.
So the message has been delivered, the point has been made, the huge question now is, what happens next? How is China going to respond? What they decide in the next few weeks could seriously shape the rest of the 21st century.
And really, there are only two paths forward from here. Path 1, things cool down. Trump gets a deal he likes in the talks, the blockade ends, everyone goes back to how things were. Or, Path 2, China decides to call America's bluff, challenges the blockade head-on, and this thing escalates into a massive confrontation between superpowers. The stakes could not be higher. Because when you boil it all down, this isn't really about Iran. It never was. For the last 5 years, the real war has been between America and China, a quiet fight over who's going to run the global economy. Iran is just the ground they've decided to fight on today.
So as this all plays out over the next few weeks, just remember that one number, 97%. It's the one piece of information that makes all the confusing headlines suddenly make perfect sense. This isn't just about the Middle East, it's about who runs the world.